Please welcome EMI recording artists, The Tea Party.
Is it safe to look within and to erase all that's been and all that's been between? Is it gone? Tell me what went wrong, 'cause baby, I'm not that strong. Walking wounded, all alone, all alone. So are you comfortable and numb? Did they all succumb to all those lies? Does it satisfy the greed? Is it all you need? Is it all you want? Well, baby, I'm not that strong. And I'm walking wounded, all alone. And baby, I'm not that strong. And I'm walking wounded, all alone, all alone. How does it feel? How does it feel, baby, now? How does it feel? How does it feel? So if your memories do stray, then they betray all that's past and all that's been between. Is it gone? Tell me what went wrong. Oh, 'cause baby, I'm not that strong. And I'm walking wounded, all alone. And baby, I'm not that strong. And I'm walking wounded, all alone, all alone. How does it feel? How do you feel, baby, now?
Would you please give a hand to the Faith Chorale that did the gospel song? Putting a little bit of soul in the Tea Party.
Jeff Martin, Jeff Burrows, Stuart Chatwood. So you've got this. Record, Tangents, the Tea Party collection. This is not a greatest hits, is it? Is this?
What do you mean by that?
Is it a greatest hits? Is it not a greatest hits?
No, it's not. It's not a greatest
why
hits.
now, and what is it?
Well, I mean, you have to figure that really the first quote unquote radio hit that we had was Heaven Coming Down, right? And before that, we were, very proud to be, probably the most day-parted band. You know what I'm talking about. So, you know what? For us, it was just that we've come to a point that it's a very interesting position to be in because we're so artistically free to do what we want to do, the way we set up our career. And I think the way things are now, we needed to recollect, reevaluate, and regroup our material in such a way, the moments, the bigger moments in our artistic, path. And it was for the fans and it was for ourselves because, as I've been saying, trying to explain why Tangents has happened, the Tea Party's about to kick into high gear. We're going to take everything that we've accumulated over the years and just put it into one cauldron, like one unique sort of alchemy, and see where it goes. I really want to push it. So
a lot of these songs have traveled the test of time very well. Jeff invited me over to the studio. They're working on a DVD, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And one of the things that was really great to hear was listening to some of these songs that are 6, 7 years old, and to have the forethought in 1993 to have a song that still sounds good today with the material you're working with. You're always pushing the boundaries, but the quality of this music that you even did back then was there from the day one. And as you said, this is one of many chapters of this career.
So many bands nowadays, too, only have one song per record. So you're going to have to wait for 15 records to create a collection.
yeah, everything has changed, though.
The studio, is it a sanctuary or a prison?
It's an asylum. It's become a more comfortable place, I mean, the learning curve has been such that when I first, had the audacity to call myself a producer, basically my friend Tim Tremblay at EMI called my bluff because I had no idea how to be a producer at all with Splendor Solace. But, I mean, I knew what I wanted to hear in my head musically, but technically it was another thing altogether. And so I had the opportunity to learn with people like Ed Stasium on the Edges of Twilight. And also even now in the mixing stage, my partner Nick Blagona, who's, analog genius, legend, guru, Mr. Deep Purple and all that stuff, right? Yeah, it's a more comfortable place now, the studio.
Well, I mean, I think about it. I mean, you look at putting together a song in the studio, and I mean, if anybody here or anybody listening has ever seen what a studio is like, it's agony. And it's not unlike putting a movie together. The beginning of the movie doesn't always go at the beginning of the recording session. Same with the song. Do songs come together in the same order every time, or do you really know where it's going to go?
Not with this band, no.
No.
No, I mean, but especially in this climate that we're in right now with pop music being the way it is and rock music being so formulated, I can imagine that that's the way it works in most studio situations now. But with this band, I mean, sometimes...
Especially with Triptych, eh?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we spent a lot more time in the studio with Triptych than any other album, and we were actually writing a lot more in the studio environment.
Why did it take so long?
It didn't take long.
Jeff went on vacation.
Jeff went on vacation, and then when we got back,
Always comes back to me.
It's always Jeff's problem.
our home studio was destroyed as well in the process. And
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
people
true.
know that
You
story.
want to share that story, Jeff?
Go ahead, man. It's your house.
Painful. No, it's just, I mean, we were working on the demos for Triptych, and Stu and I had done a lot of pre-production up in my little loft space there. And I lived in a 320-year-old building that a couple of gentlemen who lived four floors below me decided that they were going to sandblast a 300 and some odd, building that had never seen, the light of day as far as I was concerned, right? So the muck of 1,000 years came up into my, top floor and got into all the equipment and the tapes and everything else, and everything was ruined. So we had to start over from scratch.
It was like the tiniest micro dust. Whereas if you were to, if Jeff saw his guitars were covered and he was about to wipe them clean, And one of his techs at the time said, "Look, don't touch those guitars. They have to be air cleaned and air blasted." And it was
Because it'll just rub right in.
It would
It's glass.
It would ruin a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's strange.
We'll take a quick break, take a little breather, and we're going to continue with this Command performance with the Tea Party on the Soundsource Network. Have a little love in with the Tea Party. We have Jeff, and Stuart, or is it Stuart, Jeff, and Stuart, or whatever. We want to cover a lot of ground in not a lot of time, but before the break we were talking about the studio, and one of the things that this band has been known for since day one is the instrumentation. And I've never asked these guys this question, but it always amazes me. You hear a song from the 19th century and you think, that sound, that's what I'm looking for. Well, that's fine, but to take it from that sound, I really like it, to find the instrument that made that sound, to learn how to play that instrument that makes that sound, to incorporate it into your song. Stuart, that process can't be easy.
No, the whole learning process of some of these instruments, it's quite painful. Like Jeff tried to learn a hurdy-gurdy, and that was...
whoa.
Tried to learn.
He had funny, all the instruments have all these nicknames. That was called the Shrieking Cat for a while, and the Dumbeck's called the Stanley Cup. And what else do we have?
Yeah.
No comments?
No comments on that?
I'm ready. I'm ready to comment.
Go ahead.
You volley, I say. No. I think what it is especially with the stringed instruments that I approach, like the ouds and the sarodes and santours and things like that. I mean, many of you know I've had this passion for music from the Middle East for a very long time, since I was about 13, 14 years old. And I think... the only way I can explain it is it's almost like a saturation that occurred, a psychic saturation. And when I finally had the very fortunate opportunity to go to these places in the world that I could procure these instruments from this music that I've had such a passion for, when I put them in my hands and, I figured out the essential rudiments, the tunings and whatnot, all the melodies are in there, and I could find my way around, the fretboard or whatever, and it just came through in such a way, because it's a love. It's a very, very deep love of that music. I've never been more affected by another style, another culture's music than music from that part of the world,
One of the things that if you're in a relationship or you're in a situation and someone takes a picture of that moment, and that moment turns into a negative memory, you can shove it in a closet, you can get rid of it. And anytime you stumble upon that picture, it reminds you in a negative way about that situation. When you're writing music and you're writing through something that's painful, and now it's galvanized, it's in the video, it's every time you play live. Is it therapeutic to write music sometimes like that? Like a song like Walking Wounded, for instance?
Well, it's certainly cathartic, isn't it? And it's an exorcism of sorts. It's my... because I'm the singer, and it would make most sense that I write the words, because I have to believe in what I'm singing, right? I sometimes go to very painful places, but I just believe that music that is sensual, passionate, and blatantly honest, is the most powerful, and it withstands, the test of time. And especially in rock music right now, you're just not hearing a hell of a lot of that anymore. So, sometimes, the band musically and myself with the lyrics, we go to that edge, and it's been called pretentious, it's been called arrogant, self-indulgent, I could go on, but...
Oh, go on.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I'm kidding. I love it.
But, it's what it is, and, I think it's some of the most honest rock music and the most passionate rock music that's been made in quite some time, so...
So did it feel good to go back and listen to these songs for the DVD that's coming out in the spring?
It was difficult some moments, like songs like Release and, just different moments in my life, and I'm sure the other guys feel the same, they're snapshots, from the crowd to the shore, as they say,
You're already working on a new record, and the working title right now is Interzone Mantras. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, the Interzone Mantras, yeah.
See, I'm
you
not
say
correct
mantra,
in that.
I say mantra.
Mantra, yeah.
But yeah,
where's the name come from, and where are we in that process?
Well, right now it's just a working title for the record, but I find it right now suitable and applicable because there was a book that I really enjoyed by William Burroughs. It's not really a well-known book, but it's called The Interzone, right? And it was written kind of a semi-fictional account of his life, his tenure in Algiers, when he was a correspondent, right, for a certain newspaper. And the Interzone was this place in the city of Algiers where all these cultures kind of like crossed and collided, right? So it was everything. And I would, so I would kind of think of the Tea Party's music and our exploration of different cultures as that type of interzone of music, right? And mantra, right? Being, in a spiritual sense, it's very primal, it's a very sensual, sexual, divinical, repetition, right? Well, that's what rock music really should be. It's all about that drive and everything else, so interzone mantras,
Well, do you guys want to hear these guys play a little bit more? We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of the Command performance with the Tea Party on the Soundsource Network.
Live from Manta Eastern Sound in Toronto, please welcome the Tea Party.
Sailing down the sticks again. Without you, my love, I want to return, but then I see all my friends. They want me to join, but then they all melt away now. Without you alone, and the river's running through my veins. Lately she don't seem the same, and the blood keeps calling out my name. I passed by the sands, left here by a different man. The tides brought them here, cast by a different hand. And the wisps of the winds blow with the sticks again. They're pushing me on. Without you alone, and the river's running through my veins. Lately she don't seem the same, and strong to rise with this different life. My will must be long now. I'm still pushing for different heights. And the wisps of the winds blow with the sticks again. The river runs red, and I'm left alone. And the river's running through my veins. Lately she don't seem the same, and the blood keeps calling out my name. And the river's running, come on, hear me, baby. Hear me, baby. Hear me, baby. Hear me, baby. Ooh, yeah. Hear me, baby. Hear me, baby. Hear me, baby.
Any fans of Daniel Lanois? Me too. Not a hell of a lot right now as far as production goes. That's actually very interesting or ethereal, but God, I'm out of breath. This song, man, is something else, and I'm very grateful that we were able to cover this in a different interpretation.
Got a letter from a messenger. I read it when it came. It said that you were wounded. You were bound in chains. You had love and you were handled. You were poisoned, you were pained. Oh no, you were naked, you were shamed, love. You could almost touch heaven.
so much.
Edge 102.
Thank you.
And you wanted this. It's so sad to see the sweet decay of ecstasy. And oh, my love, you want it all. Still you want it all, love. But a frozen sun would guide us there. The shadows hide all the deep despair. And oh my love, and you want it all.
Thank you so much. A hand for the string quartet from somewhere back in the Renaissance. Ever been to Montreal, people here? This song explains it in a nutshell. Desires, I want what I need. Shaking as the sex takes hold, I've lost all control. Drowning in a sea of rage, I can taste the embrace. Helpless as it steals my soul, I tell you I've lost all control. Temptation! We exist in a world where the fears of illusion are real, and we cling to the past, we deny, we confuse the ideas. What's inside we conceive, we believe in a God who can't feel, and I can't feel it, I can't feel it, I can't feel it. I tell you I'm drugged to delight, laughing as these lies unfold. Once again I've lost all control. Temptation, it never lets me down. Temptation.
chased away, obscured in exile. They've witnessed the times I've gone astray. Whose fault now you're thinking? There's nothing to prove. Snapshot from the cloud to the shore, baby. And it feels now just like heaven's coming down. So strange are the ways we all change. Still life, it stays the same. Break from the past could make it last. Or maybe just a little longer. There's nothing to prove. Snapshot from the crowd to the show, baby. And it feels now just like heaven's coming down. Your soul shakes free as its conscience hits the ground. You surrender to love underwear. Rest assured, baby, you're adored. And it feels now just like heaven's coming down. Your soul shakes free as its conscience hits the ground. These signs, this fate takes a path you didn't choose. Stay strong, keep faith. There's a change that's coming through. Hold on, my love. Hold on, my love. Hold on, my love. It feels like heaven's coming down. It feels like heaven's coming down now.
Thanks very much. I haven't played that song in a while.
turned there to find him. And her memories, well, they filled her with light. She remembered the beauty. She remembered desires. And her memories, they filled her with light. I am the sun in the flame, cold from the flame turns away, and in these winds gain a change. She awakes. Sister, walk through these fields of delight, but I want you to know desperation's the tenderest trap, so gently you go. What will it take, sister, away? Sister, away. Sister! For dead. Isolation will cradle the lot of things left unsaid. Now what will it take? Oh, my sister, away. Sister, away. Hey, sister. That call out your name,
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
You're listening to a Command Performance exclusive with the Tea Party, live on the Soundsource Network. We'll be right back.